uh, her whole demeanor changed from one day to the next. Uh,
Hmm.
One day she was happy, vibrant, I would say beautiful, and the next day she wasn't. She didn't look different, and yet she did. It was like almost like looking at her through a dirty glass, and
Could she
nothing
have been
seemed to.
replaced?
I suppose so. He seems almost, very disturbed by this possibility, like it hadn't really occurred to him before.
Could you tell us something about her that only she and you would know, or only she would know, to her father?
Would you want something that only the two of them would know, or the three of them?
I want something that they know about her that nobody else knows. So if she was replaced by a spirit, that it would probably not know.
He thinks for a moment. Well, she did tell me once that one of the only memories she has of her mother was her mother calling her little fox. I don't know how many people know that. He looks to Nobuan, and Nobuan says that he doesn't recall the nanny or the maid or anyone else in the household ever, using that kind of an term of endearment for her. But he couldn't say whether she shared that with anyone.
I also asked Jinder whether he has something. Since these two are in love and she is his fiancée, maybe he knows something about her that even her father doesn't know.
He thinks for a moment more. And he looks at Nobuan kind of sheepishly and says, "Well, she did say that she always wanted to learn how to use a sword, but never got the courage to ask her father." Nobuan kind of chuckles at that and says, I had no idea. She certainly never said anything to me about that.
Thank you. I think that's of a great help. Sorry I interrupted. Please continue.
Well, he's kind of, I actually lost my train of thought, so. Does anyone have any other questions? I can't think of if I was going to tell you guys something. I don't think I was, but.
You were in the middle of explaining how she changed.
Oh, right. Sorry. He says that she also, it seemed like nothing satisfied her. Even her favorite foods were not flavorful enough. Demanded more salt. You put more salt in it. Now it had too much salt. It was like nothing pleased her anymore. But every once in a while she would change back to her old self. And then change again. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like two different personalities.
So, do the different looks correspond with the way she behaved?
Yes.
So when she was back to her old self, she also looked normal like she did before?
Yes.
Okay.
Might be an actual possession, I don't know.
Well, we don't know anyway, because at the moment we are just collecting information as much as possible because of those spirits Would you want to come with us when we go and talk to her?
Unfortunately, I have to stay here and help out Father with the restaurant, especially as the lunch rush is beginning shortly. Taking care of this restaurant is quite a bit of time, and like Noble One, unfortunately, I have not had as much time with Homiko except in the evenings as I would like.
Is it generally a certain time of day when she turns back to normal, or is it like it's like a shorter period than that?
I haven't noticed any rhyme or reason to it.
Has she picked up any new habits?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. We'll probably have to talk to the household staff for details like that.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions you guys have?
Does she often eat here at the inn?
How often? How
No, not often.
often?
So you wouldn't know whether she actually prefers different food now to what she ate before.
Well, I've been over to the Mashta residence for dinners.
When?
That's when I've seen that.
Like I probably said, we'll probably have to find out these details at the residence.
Mm-hmm.
Braxon says, I cannot think of any questions now, but if I think of anything else, it would be most helpful if I could come back and talk to either of you.
Oh, absolutely, of course.
I do
Thank you
believe
very
we
much for your
should.
time.
I do believe we should agree on a safe word in a way that those two don't hear each other. Because if we come back and they've been replaced, then we wouldn't know, because then we would agree on a safe word with whatever replaces them.
Do you want to tell them that? I mean, not tell them the word, but tell them that that's your plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they will agree to that. We don't need to come up with the actual word. I don't
Yeah.
care that much.
I don't think so.
Mm.
I mean, if you say that you're going to do that, then I'm fine just saying that you do that, and then next time you encounter them, you say, we're going to give them the word, and...
Well, no, we're going to ask them for the word. We're going to ask them for it.
Okay. Alright, so yeah, you discreetly get the, come up with a word for each of them. And, Jundo goes back out to, leaves the private dining room. And
Shall we go on?
Noble One looks to you and asks if you have any further questions for him.
Not at the moment.
Then let me show you to our residence.
Thank you.
Alright,
And since Leva brought it up, I'll suggest we come up with safe words for each other as well, in case we get separated.
That's a good idea, yes.
Okay. Alright, so the Mashta residence is just outside of Shou Town. Although this section here is kind of a mixture of eastern and western buildings. And his residence is this purple building here, or this bluish building. It's actually multiple buildings together, and the the rightmost portion of it is the residence. It's a single-story building in standard, in one of the different styles that is emblematic of Shou Town. Single floor.
Can we stroll around the outside before we go in?
Sure.
Braxton's going to have a quick look to see if there's anywhere where someone might have tried to break in.
Well, there are windows. The walls are made of wood. The building is actually elevated a couple feet off the ground. There is space underneath the house, but it's all fenced off by latticed wood paneling. You don't, strolling around the outside, you don't notice any of that's out of place, at least not obviously. Let me actually bring you over to the map for the house itself.
Are we all prepared if we are being
If you're being what? You broke up there.
if we are being attacked?
Do we have
Not
spells? I don't know, actually. I've only got whatever before I went back from the ship spells. That's the spells I've got. Basic combat spells.
You've had 2 weeks to memorize spells.
Yeah,
so...
but I never said if I was changing my spells or... So I've just gone with the standard lot, like cure, moderate, silence, help person, etc.
Okay, well, I mean...
That's what I've got.
I've got the magic missiles and melves and fog, and that's about it.
I'm not walking around in my armor, but I do have my weapons with me.
Okay.
I have my armor because, well, it's only leather armor. Well,
Yeah,
studded
I've got my
leather,
standard
but-
stuff.
Yeah, mine's a little bit more than the standard. My armor.
It's gonna be uncomfortable walking around in plate mail anyway.
Braxton doesn't have his bow or his backpack, but he's got his other weapons.
All right, that's fine. I mean, you can still go retrieve stuff from your inn, which I don't think I ever charged you for. I don't need to do that. Anyway, so he brings you here. The walls are made of wood, but you also see that some of them are sliding panels from the outside. You're brought to the entrance here.
And then we take off shoes.
Yeah, this is kind of a hallway here. It's actually ground level, and it's where you can take off your shoes. It's clearly designed for getting messy and dirty. He gives you a quick tour of the house. These are porches here, and these are all the sliding walls. They function as doors, and you're able to open things up to get larger spaces. The kitchen has an open hearth in the center, and it goes up through a hole in the roof.
There's no window in the daughter's chamber.
There is back through here. It's not a sliding wall, it's a window. There's also a window here, and a window here. Actually, let me mark that on the map.
Which direction are we looking at? Or which directions are the windows? East, west, whatever?
Okay, so let me just make the maps, the notes real fast. Okay, so there's a window. Oops. I probably don't want to be on the map, do I? Let me... Yeah, it's on the map layer. Okay. Okay. So from the way that this map is, this side is another building, and that is dock side. So that's towards the docks of the Brawl. This is back towards the back of the city, the high city, the palace, and everything like that. So,
And how about the connected buildings?
there are other buildings. If you go back, if you go back to the Brawl map, you can probably see how that kind of works out. So basically, you've got the daughter's room is on that alley. The front is that way.
I can't see much difference with the two pings.
Zoom
So,
in,
are
zoom
you
in,
talking Eel Street?
zoom in.
Zoom in.
Yeah, zoom in as far as you can.
Oh, that's zooming out.
So the daughter's room is on this tiny little alley there. The windows.
Oh,
face
I
onto
see.
that.
You've put some labels on it.
Yeah, and then the front of the house is this larger section here. There's a porch there, and then there's a porch here. They don't have a yard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you get that?
I think so, but it's not rectangular like the map is. So
Well, so it's just like let's see. Let me draw a quick shape here. That is so okay. That is really big. Not sure if I can.
so it's just the back part of
Yes.
that building.
Yes.
The back rectangle. Right.
Yeah. So this larger part of the rectangle and this smaller part of the rectangle are different buildings. They're just all put together. You know, they're all connected. But they're like different residences, different things entirely. And I do not
Okay.
have maps for any of those things, so they will not be playing a part in here, unless you manage to screw me over somehow. So basically, this diagram, you probably want to flip it around 180 degrees to get it to match the what's there on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is
Which way? So which way's north on Brawl?
Brawl doesn't really have a north. You've got.
I'm just gonna zoom up
this-
if I do.
This side is dock side. And
North
this,
is a grounding concept.
Okay. So these are servant quarters. This is where the servants sleep. And actually they have to go outside of the house to then get in there. There's no actual connecting
Duh.
portion. And
Can we talk to them
yeah, sure.
now?
That's
I
fine.
I think we should talk to them first. We should talk to everybody first, collect information, and then talk to the daughter.
Okay. Well, let me
Sounds
just
like a plan.
describe the house a little bit more. So all of these the double barred ones, those are all sliding and or removable walls, so that the space can be, you know, sectioned out or enlarged depending on what's going on. But the daughter sleeps back here, Homiko, and Nobleon sleeps over here.
Just a loft.
It's not a loft.
Well,
floor.
the thing is like this is pretty traditional Japanese house or
And
Asian.
let me tell you, it is
Yeah.
really hard to find a map like this for for these things. It was not easy finding enough maps.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to
I
figure
know.
things
No,
out.
I'm just saying. All right. So yes, you can. Do you want to? Who did you want to talk to first?
Is the nanny around?
They're all around.
Yeah, probably the nanny first. She's the most directly involved with her, so.
Okay. So she's an older woman. You would guess maybe in her 60s. You know, maybe late 50s. She keeps her hair tied in a bun. It's graying. She has a very, motherly persona. And I'm going to say that you guys are kind of like doing your interviews over here in the reception chamber.
All right.
While everyone is doing, everyone else is doing their other duties and stuff like that. So greetings are performed, and she says, "I understand that you are going to be investigating what's going on with dear little Homoko."
Yes.
Hey, Ald.
Yep.
I'm not going to be really saying much during these, but I just wanted to study people's expressions and that sort of thing as
Okay.
they're being questioned.
Okay. Well, I will be more than happy to help any way that I can.
Okay. We already know that sometimes she goes back to normal. We'd like how often does that happen and how long?
It tends to be every other day or so. It never lasts more than half a day or so, however.
3 other day.
Is there a particular time that this happens?
Most often in the mornings, but it has also been the evenings, midday, just about any time it has happened, but more often than not in the mornings.
Has she been in a particular part of the house when this has happened?
Not that I've noticed.
Is she, where is she when she reverts back to normal? Is it like very back to the other self? Is it very sudden, or
No, it's more like a slow change.
is she around somebody specific when it starts changing back, or is it just slowly happens?
Not that I have noticed. It's been... Let's see. There were 2 mornings, one afternoon after she was out. I believe she was looking at dresses for the wedding, and then one evening after... Oh dear, what was that? I think she was out visiting with some of her friends. I don't know where they went, though.
Can you tell us about the day when she changed the first time, whether something happened?
Well, the night before she went to a ball at Lord Fan Chui's, Chan Fui's house. I certainly was not one to go there, however. I do not know what went on there.
Did anybody accompany her?
Probably the father. So I'm thinking, is she probably?
Hey, we're asking. We are not answering our own questions.
Well, her father was
Right.
there. It was a ball for various wealthy patrons in the community, and their children. I don't know who else was there. I'm not in that group.
Is she liked in her normal times?
Oh yes, very much so. Everyone loves her.
So there was she doesn't have any enemies?
None that I know of.
Does her father?
Sure, everyone in his line of business eventually makes enemies. But I can't imagine that they would do anything like this. It's usually business rivalries.
When you
Have
see
any?
her,
Sorry, go on.
when you see her together with her fiance, do you think they have a good relationship?
Well, they did
Until
until a
They
week ago.
did?
Yes.
And how is it now?
Well, the same way she is with everyone.
How does he react to that?
Oh, I can tell that it pains him.
she
Could it be possible that she was replaced, or do you think
Oh no, I
more
can't
that
imagine.
she?
um
So you think she more like she is possessed or something, and it only shows up from time to time?
Yes, I think a spirit has cursed her, like her father has said.
question.
Yep.
When she goes back to being her cursed self, it's always when she's out of the house, out of the place.
Hmm. No, the 2 mornings, I don't believe she... Well, she certainly was here the mornings and the nights, and the evenings before... Yes, she was home. So it was only the time that she changed in the afternoon and the evening that she was definitely out.
Okay, so that
So
means the person.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking, so that means the person has to know where she lives then, or the spirit.
Well, everyone
Well,
in town knows where we live. Well, everyone in Shou Town knows where we live.
did she start to change before she left in the afternoon and the evening, or were you told afterwards that she had changed?
I only noticed it after she returned.
Okay. Did she have any visitors on the mornings when she changed back?
She thinks for a moment. Junda was here once. I don't believe she had visitors on the other time.
Is he doing her good when he is here while she is changed?
What do you mean by that?
Does she change her behavior when he is around?
Not. Oh, okay. Let me. Are you asking from like before the last week as well, or
No.
Okay.
I'm asking whether when she's changed and he comes to visit, whether her behavior changes.
I don't believe so. I mean, I haven't noticed that it has anything to do with him visiting.
Could you describe her while she's changed?
Yeah, she is normally a very happy and accepting person. Nothing displeases her. Forgiving of errors and mistakes. Very much it takes things as they are, and not dissatisfied with life in general, but lately it's like nothing is right. Her clothes don't fit right, her clothes don't look right, her food isn't to her taste. it's completely different. Even her appearance is different. I don't really know how to describe it except she doesn't look right.
We don't know much about Shou spirits, but can you think of any particular kind that could do this? Something like this, or is there a lot of too many different types to say?
There are too many different, and I am not an expert in any of that in that realm at all.
Okay.
You're saying she changes slowly.
Yes.
So how do you see that? What's happening? I mean, you must have observed her while she was changing, otherwise you wouldn't know that. Can you describe how you perceive this change as it happens?
Well, it's like she starts out bright and happy and vibrant, and then as the day goes on as time goes on, she just becomes more and more dissatisfied with everything. Things that are little things start annoying her and displeasing her, and it's almost like she goes from bright to dull. I don't know how else to describe it.
Is somebody hanging around her particularly when this happens?
Only the servants.
Anyone in particular?
Well, her maid Etsuki is always around. And myself, of course.
So was Itsuki always there when she changes?
Etsuki is always here.
Does she accompany her when she goes out?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Most of the time. Not
Did
to the
she
ball, of
accompany her?
course.
Did she accompany her on the days where she started changing after she left?
I believe so.
Question.
Yep.
She might have not went to the ball, but has the maid changed in any way?
No, she is not.
Okay.
Is there a need for Etsuki to always be with her?
Well, she's her maid.
No, I'm not gonna pretend to understand.
So she, we are not very familiar with your culture, so you have to excuse us if we say the wrong thing. But why would she need a maid all the time?
Because she's a lady.
Yeah. Okay.
So the maid is around to help her in all situations of life the whole day.
Not the whole day, but nearly so. Yes.
Okay, so I think maybe the maid is the next person we talk to.
It's the lower form of nobility, basically.
Uh-huh.
I have a question.
Yes?
The other parts of the structure around here, they're where goods are stored, is that correct?
You're gonna have to ask me about specific rooms.
The things that aren't on this map that you're showing us.
Right, but I mean, you'll have to ask me about specific rooms. I mean, like, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking about.
The parts of the building that aren't on the close-up map.
You mean the other buildings next to it?
The other buildings, yeah.
No, those are other residences.
Oh, they're not part of this building?
No. Well, I mean, they're connected, but it's not like a continuous building. It's like a row house type situation.
Oh, I thought it was all owned by the family.
No, this is the only part that's owned by...
Okay, alright. Then Braxon doesn't ask that.
Yeah.
Misunderstood.
Can you describe Etsuki to us a bit more? Just how she is, how she behaves, what she has to do in her job, stuff like that?
She takes care of Homiko's clothing. She washes her outfits. She does for the master as well. Although I do his clothing at times. She ensures that the proper outfits are prepared. She does her hair and makeup. She's carries her purchases when they go out shopping. Everything that a lady's maid does. She kind of lowers her voice a little bit. She's a little bit of an airhead, however, if you get my meaning. Not the brightest bulb, but she's good at what she does.
Yes, I get your meaning. Can you tell me, did she by chance change in any way in the last few weeks?
Etsuki? No.
Yes. So she's still the same as she was 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Okay.
And she hasn't changed in taking care or looking after the lady?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. I'd like to agree on a safe word with you. Just so we know it's you when we keep talking to you in the future.
She seems a little confused about that for a second, and then kind of like a look of shock and a little bit of horror comes over her face as she kind of picks up on what you're getting at. But she agrees, and you guys come up with a word. It looks like the idea of being replaced by something else doesn't seem to have ever occurred to her.
Well, it's more like it takes it acts like you when you're not around. It doesn't actually like.
But yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, like just that kind of thought never really occurred to her.
Well, you see, even if it's just a spirit that takes over, and you changed.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, she gets it, but it's just like the thought never really occurred to her, and having it occur to her just kind of was like a shock and like, oh my god, that is scary kind of thing.
It
is. It is, yes.
Yeah,
it is. You're quite right to be frightened of it. I actually would not like... I would not like to talk to... what's her name? Etsuki now, because I'd like to first talk to the other people in case the others have actually noticed something that you might not have. Can you tell me something about her, about your lady, that nobody else knows?
She thinks for a moment. It looks like she's a bit flummoxed by the other idea. She tells you that Etsuki would know this as well, but she has an odd birthmark on her lower back. Only people who've seen her back naked would know about it. It's just an unusual birthmark. Nothing special about the shape. Just that's what she can think of.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you tell us something about the other servants in the house?
Well, I've told you about Etsuki. Komoe, that's the cook. She is very good at traditional foods, but not very good with unusual ingredients. She knows what she knows and nothing else, shall we say, when it comes to cooking. But what she does cook is quite delicious. I believe Master Mashta brought her from Kozakura. Actually, no, Wa. I think I made him from Wa. I don't remember. Wherever. They're very much the same anyway. So, but she can't think of anything really else to tell you about Komoe. They don't. She tells you that they don't talk much. They don't really have a whole lot in common. So they don't, other than talking about household things, they don't like share their own personal thoughts and ideas much. She tells you that the guard Taisuke is he's getting up there in years. He's an old soldier, but he's pretty good at logistics. He was he took care of supplies for the military company that he was a part of before, taking his pension and deciding to see what was beyond and signing on with a dragon ship and arriving here. While he's a guard, he's just one person. He can't actually really do a whole lot of guarding of the household, but anyone who comes by who is asked to leave and doesn't, Taisuke is very good about ensuring that they leave. But he also serves as kind of an assistant to Nobulon.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you think we could talk to Komoe?
Of course. And well, first, does anyone else have any other questions?
Yes, I do. What were the names of her? What's the names of her friends?
Homako's friends?
Yes.
Yeah, the friends she went off with when she changed.
Well, okay. Yeah, all right.
We don't need the names now, but you can say you've told them to us.
Okay.
And you could arrange for an introduction if we need to talk to them.
She tells you that would have to be done either through Homoko or Master Nobulon.
Okay. Thank you.
Just because they're other, upper class, upper middle class, upper class people in Shoutown.
Yeah.
Okay. So Komoe is brought in and sits down, and she says to you, she's a little bit curt about it. You can see that she's kind of out of sorts with a whole bunch of, elves and a Giff, and Western humans. She's it definitely looks like she's uncomfortable with the lot of you. She says,
Braxon says, "Greetings. Thank you for seeing us."
Yes. Can we make it quick? I need to make sure that dinner is all prepared for tonight.
I essentially ask her the same questions.
Yeah, I think we just. Well,
Let's see, does it happen every day? And if not, when does it happen?
You basically get the same information that you got out of OTO. At least initially, you don't notice anything different about the information. I'm going to need you to specifically ask for differences.
All right, does it happen every day?
Well, no, but she tells you that the same information that OTO
Okay.
did. The days that it happened, roughly when it happened, that sort of thing.
who's around her and such like that during that time.
Basically, that's all the same info.
That's all the same info. Let's
Okay.
see. Can you describe her when she's changed, or when the change happens? What do you notice about her?
You're going to make me get out of thesaurus here, aren't you? She basically tells you the same information about that kind of stuff as OTO, but there's It's less detailed. There are more gaps in what she knows. It's pretty clear that she doesn't spend anywhere near as much time interacting with Homiko as Otio does.
You know, we were
the
told.
maid.
Sorry, go ahead.
Have you noticed any differences in her maid?
She has not, no. Well, what she has noticed is that Etsuki is a lot more flustered this past week. It sounds like she has been reprimanded or spoken harshly to, and she's not used to that. But she also tells you that Etsuki is a stupid little girl.
Okay. Has anybody else around the house acted oddly after she changed?
Not that she's aware of.
Could I ask you a question? You prepare food for people. Has anybody's appetite changed? Is there anybody eating more or less than usual, or leaving food they normally eat?
Well, nothing seems to please Homiko anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Other than
She's-
Homiko.
No one else, no. Homiko is complaining about her favorite meals, and it's very difficult to cook for someone who suddenly changes like that. Nothing pleases her. She asks
Can you
you for. She goes off on this like kind of a rant about how it's like, oh, first it's not salty enough, then you put in just a pinch more salt, and oh, now it's too salty. What are you doing, you stupid woman? And it seems like this has really hit her hard now.
Okay.
So it sounds like this is a symptom of the problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Nobody eating different.
I don't know anything else to ask her, especially since she is shorter than Otoya was. So, could we talk to the guard, or does anyone else have questions?
Yeah, let's see if anyone else has any questions. I mean, like if you can think of anything that she might be aware of that Otio wouldn't be, or other people in the house might not be. I mean, like that question about whether anyone's eating less or more, that kind of thing.
Does she approve? Sorry. Does I'm trying to think how to pronounce the name. Etsuki? Is that her name?
Etsuki?
Yeah. Does she approve of the marriage between is it Komu? I keep getting the names wrong.
Etsuki's. You mean?
Etsuki's a maid.
Yeah, Etsuki's
That's
a mage.
what I'm
Does she approve of the marriage between Homiko and Jundo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Yes. Komoe tells you that Etsuki thinks that Jundo is a fine young man and will make a fine husband for Homiko.
Oh, has Jindo eaten at this place?
Often.
Is he happy with your food?
She gets kind of a peevish look to her face and says he is always polite, but I think he wishes I was more experimental.
You don't like experiments with food?
Well, what my grandmother and her grandmother ate is perfectly good.
Yep.
Have you tried any experiments with food lately?
No, I don't think that does seem real.
Well, she's curious now. She actually kind of stutters a little bit and then says, "No, what's good for my grandmother and her grandmother is good enough for me."
I insist.
You insist.
Come on. Yes, I insist.
Well, you don't have anything.
Look,
You don't have
I-
anything here for her to try anyway, though.
no, I want to know whether she's changed some of her cooking in the last few weeks.
Oh, can I interject that? You have a cooking proficiency, don't you? You could try something.
Yes,
Well,
I could.
I'm not sure exactly what you're getting at here.
I want to know whether Komue has changed some of the cooking that she's done in the last few weeks.
She'll tell you that, of course, she hasn't.
Okay. But she was slightly peevish before, which raised my curiosity, which is why I insisted. Are you certain you haven't changed anything in your cooking?
Well, you would have recognized the peevishness as kind of maybe a little bit of quote unquote professional jealousy, because Jundo's a cook too, and while he's she said that he's never been anything but complimentary. She doesn't really believe that. She thinks you can pick up on this that you think that that Jundo judges her for her cooking and is just lying.
Mm.
Normal house drama.
Thank you very much for your time, Komui. The reason I was asking about food earlier is there's been suggestion that a spirit is involved, and it's possible that if displeasure with food is a symptom, that the sort of food that she is having trouble with or not having trouble with might help us discover something. So if you could keep a note of the sorts of foods that she's complaining about, just in case that does indicate anything to us, that if there's a pattern.
Okay. She nods and agrees that she'll let you know if it's not obvious, especially.
And if anybody else's appetite changes for like maybe just a day.
She nods. Okay. She'll let you know about that.
People.
I will expect
And
you
to
to
say
ask her for those questions rather than me coming to you and telling you. So, just so you know.
And the safe word.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's agree on the safe word.
Yeah.
I explained to her what we mean with that.
Well, you did already. When you told her about the possibility of being being replaced. You did that already.
Okay, fine.
Really.
Let's
Wasn't that the
talk
last
to-
lady?
Let's talk
Oh,
to
yeah,
what's
you're
his
right.
name?
That was Otio.
Gar.
I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, but yeah, you do the words. All right. You want to talk to Taisuke the guard?
Esteem he's
I do, but I don't know whether the others have some questions.
Anyone else have any questions for Komue?
No, I'm good. But Braxon says that thank you for your time, and we may want to come back and speak to you later, and that sort of stuff.
For the first time, you see her smile at you, Braxon, and she gives you a little bow on her way out.
Laughter is visibly creeped.
Braxon bows back.
Okay, let's actually take the break here and come back in about 10 minutes and then talk to the next person.
Indeed.
Okay. All right, so that'll be about 10 minutes, give or take. We'll return and have some more interviews. See you then, everyone.